What's up, Big 12 Nation? I'm Joey Foster. Right over there is Shane Statmiller. I can't even say your name, Shane. Anyway, hey, guess what? It's time for some Big 12 football right here on West Virginia football at the Voice of College Football. We'll be right back.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past and the pettiness. A reflection of the emptiness, hilarious. You think you're worth my time, you're delirious, mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior, inferior. You know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence.
Fired up now, man. Ready to go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome in, Big 12 Nation. This is Big 12 football at the Voice of College Football. I'm Joey Foster. Shane, man, what's going on, brother?
Not much. Just a lot of things are starting to quiet down. It's a little bit quiet in the Big 12 news for having such a busy, meeting of the minds last year. I think it's been a little bit quiet. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about Brent. Is he an evil genius like a James Bond villain, or is we just we giving him too much credit? I don't know, Joey.
Well, open for business. Let's start there. So we had an interview, and he said same thing as he's always said. The Big 12 is open for business. Now, this is nothing different than he's said since he got here. And I don't know if he means necessarily with expansion. He might, but I think he means a lot with just looking for money, looking for ways to brand people and make the brands bigger in the Big 12 and just rebranding the Big 12 more or less. I think that's pretty much what he means by open for business. Now, at the same time, I also feel like he means, hey, we're keeping an eye on things over to ACC because if Clemson and Florida State bolt, we're going to need to pick up some men teams. We need to pounce like he did the Pack. So
Yeah,
I think that's kind of a little bit about where he was going with that.
yeah. I think he's like a deer hunter up in a tree stand, and he has like an extra tag, and he's like, well, if I see a big buck, I'm going to use this tag. But we're open for business, and that's what I take from it. He outlined his new vision for for the future of the Big 12 this week, and they talked about the state of Arizona, and I scratch my head because when you watch Big 12 news, as far as YouTube goes, we're gonna get UNC, we're gonna get NC State. I don't know where these people are coming up with this, because I have found zero evidence of that. Now, Brent's probably making some phone calls. I'm sure there's discussions, but there's no credible evidence to support that. I mean, now there's they can reopen the college football playoff the way that Kitty is divvied out in 2028, and I guess if they get other teams, they can do it earlier. But I don't really think there's any money in bringing in other teams, because if you bring in Oregon State, you bring even a UNC. Everybody's drooling about UNC. I looked at it. That's the equivalent of bringing in Louisville. And just from what I've looked at as far as the money goes, Joey.
So they're trying right now in North Carolina. They are passing a bill, and it may have passed today. I don't know. I haven't checked to see if it passed. They're running a bill to where North Carolina and NC State and Appalachian State, all these colleges down there have to play each other every year. And it's not that they're trying. I don't think they're trying to keep North Carolina in the ACC, because that's not going to keep them in the ACC. They're just trying to make sure that when they do vote, they have to come back, because that's a lot of money. That's billions of dollars every year in the state of North Carolina for NC State and North Carolina to play each other in the state, right? And Appalachian State to play North Carolina and East Carolina. That's a lot of money in the state. So that's billions of dollars. I think that's the whole purpose behind this legislature in North Carolina. I don't think it's anything to keep North Carolina and NC State in the same conference. And I know a lot of people are saying that. I don't think that's it, guys. It's not going to happen. North Carolina and NC State are not going to be in the same conference if things move, if the ACC falls apart. Now, what will happen is I feel like North Carolina would probably go to the Big Ten. NC State would probably end up in the Big 12. That's an if they take them. Because there's going to be a lot of other teams too that maybe like a Pitt, Virginia Tech, Louisville, Miami. I think M4 teams would be taken before NC State, in my opinion. But so I don't think that this court thing or this bill in North Carolina, like a lot of people are saying, it's not to keep North Carolina in the ACC. It's just to make sure they keep playing those games and bring all that money into North Carolina.
Yeah, Joe, you're right. I mean, yeah, I would have to agree with you 100%. They're looking more long term, and I think the Big 12 is just looking to stay alive. And who's to say when the ACC, the shoe falls, there's not teams in the Big 12 that are valued more than teams in the ACC. And
right. I mean, there are teams in the Big 12.
Yeah. So let's take West Virginia off the table because we're biased. But what are some teams that would be, like we've looked at the numbers over the past 6 months. We have an idea what the valuable brands are. And in my mind, it's Kansas.
Well, Kansas is a valuable brand. A lot of that has to do with basketball, but still, Kansas is a very valuable brand. Oklahoma State's a valuable brand, especially in football. Arizona's a valuable brand, whether, maybe they've been down quite a few years, but Arizona's a pretty big brand, a great value. Colorado's a huge brand and stuff. Now, they've been down for quite a few years. If they can start making a comeback and playing good football again like they did years ago, 30 years ago, then Colorado has a chance to be the biggest brand in this conference. As of right now, all the numbers point to West Virginia as the biggest brand in the conference. But I think that you can look at a lot of other things too and say, well, they're a big brand, but probably not as big as Oklahoma State in ways, right? I think Oklahoma State's bigger in other ways than West Virginia. But now West Virginia is great as far as branding. That flying WV, everybody knows who that is. As soon as they see it, I don't care if they're even a football fan. They see the flying WV, they know it's West Virginia. So that's where branding has been so good over the years at West Virginia University to build that brand. Yeah, and that's why the brand value is so high.
And if the SEC were to take West Virginia, they move north and east from Kentucky into West Virginia. They get that whole area. And for ladies and gentlemen that are Big 12 followers and fans that haven't driven from Morgantown to Beckley, it takes about 5.5, 6 hours, right?
Yeah.
So
I think the Big 12 is pretty stable right now. I don't think anybody's leaving. I don't want to
serious
conversation to where people think that I'm talking about conference realignment here. I'm not. I don't think the Big 12 is going anywhere. I think everybody's stable and fine and happy, and and we've got a good conference. The thing about it is, we make more money than the ACC, and then we're on par with the SEC. Maybe we're quite a few million short, but I mean we're there. Okay, we're close because tier three rights in the Big 12 belong to universities. Where in the other conferences, that's all figured in. So, we get tier three rights, $8 to $10 million a team. That's extra on top of anything you hear. So last year we heard, was it last year we got 51 million per team
Yeah.
payout? But then you figure the tier three rights on top of that. So it was close to 60 million that everybody got. And then this year, I don't remember what the payout was, 42 or 43 million, I believe. And you figure tier three rights on top of that, or over 50 million in the Big 12. And that's a far cry from the ACC. Now, is that going to change when the four newcomers come? Yeah, I believe it will. I think payout's going to go down just a little bit, but still with those tier three rights, the tier three rights are going to increase, and all that money goes to the universities. So it's kind of like, okay, we got to do away. We got to give up a little bit of money here, but we're going to get more money here on the back end that don't even go through the conference. So it might be a good thing. So anyway.
I want Joey. We're on the same page today because here's the thing: the big, like Joey was saying, the Big 12 is not going anywhere. What we're wargaming right here is if someone were to bolt, it would weaken the conference to a point where I don't think they would recover. We're at a precipice for Big 12 to be competitive. The Big 12, I'm saying we as a conference need to have a few teams, not just Utah, but we need 3 solid teams to be competitive in the conversation for the college football playoffs and be in the conversation on ESPN and Fox News for these guys could win the national championship. So for the Big 12 to be, relevant, that has to happen. And I think the problem, like one of the nails in the coffin for the ACC was when Florida State was not selected for the playoffs when they had the record that they have. So, half of me is worried that that's going to happen to the Big 12. Now that there's a 12-team playoff, the likelihood's very, it's not going to happen. But I'm always concerned that is the Big 12 going to get their due? The respect that they're due. I'm just wondering.
Yeah. So I see Jackson Johnson's been posting the in the chat about our memberships. So if you'd like to become a member of the channel, we do have memberships open now to the channel. We have a couple of members over there right now. Kenny Evans and myself are members of the channel. Here's what I want to do with memberships. So it's the off season, right? And I don't know how many people like to sit and just watch an old game, just hang out and just watch an old game. And I'm thinking about maybe on Sunday afternoon or maybe even a Saturday afternoon, starting up a StreamYard and posting it posting that in the community on the community page for members only. Members only will be able to see the link to that stream. Come into that stream with me, and we'll just stream a game and watch it together. It won't be live. We'll just be in the back room of a StreamYard stream, sitting there talking, watching football together, talking West Virginia football. If you like to join the West Virginia channel and you want to watch a different game, you're a TCU fan. Hey, that's fine. Come on in. We'll stream a TCU game. I don't care. But yeah, so I appreciate anybody that joins up. You can join for as little as $1.99 a month. And hey, like I said, you're going to get to do that. And then through the week, season, when the season starts, I'm going to be streaming games live as they're going on for members only. So anyway, all right, back to the conversation. Sorry about that. I had to get that out.
Guys, there's so many different things we can do, and let us know what you're thinking as far as content. What are you missing? What do you want to hear from? But when we're shooting for 2,000 subs before the beginning of the season, and what a season it's going to be. I think West Virginia, I think Colorado might, if they turn a quarter, it's going to be a huge story. It's going to be exciting. Iowa State, Joey and I have been, singing the praises of how impressed we are with that program and the direction they're going. UCF is just starting to turn the corner. Are they going to? It depends on how fast they're going to climb, but they're on the upward swing. Kansas,
I just don't have any faith in UCF this year.
yeah. You can't. Well, Kansas. I mean, we love the coach. We love what they're doing. They're building a new stadium. They have the money. They have crazy fans. Just see if they can keep their coach. He signed an extension, so I think that's going to happen. So,
But can Kansas keep Jalen Daniel healthy? If he can stay healthy, Kansas can have a fantastic year. But my goodness, he gets hurt the first couple of games every year, and I hate to see that. They're just
Chris
injury
Klein,
prone.
he kind of rolled the dice and blew on him, and he let Will Howard walk to Ohio State. So we'll see if that comes out to bite him in the butt. But I think Kansas State has enough thoroughbreds in the stable to to keep that to stay competitive. I think they're definitely one of the most dynamic rushing offenses. So they got that Dylan Edwards, Giddens. So
I know we don't look. We're Big 12 fans. I mean, we're West Virginia fans, but we're Big 12 fans too. I'm gonna show you something here from West Virginia. It's a stat for West Virginia, and this is because the only reason I'm showing this is because so many people are talking about, West Virginia, they're 6.5. Their win total is 6.5 this year. So Vegas don't have no faith in them. I'm not going to have much faith in them. And you'll be making a bitter mistake. I'm going to tell you, West Virginia didn't lose anybody, guys. They returned 91% of their production from last year. They returned they lost some players on defense, not only to graduation but also the portal. But we brought in better guys from the portal, higher graded players. So I'm thinking that, we didn't use the portal to build a team. We used the portal to fill in holes like you're supposed to do. So I think West Virginia's going to have a lot better team. Now, I'm going to bring this stat up here. I want everybody to look at this real quick. Jalen Daniels for Kansas, right? All right, this was 2022 numbers because in 2023 he was injured pretty much the whole season. 152 attempts, 130 completions. Pretty good, right? 66%. 8.3 yards a throw. Garrett Green last year, 147 completions, 278 attempts, only 52.9%. But look here, 8.7 yards a carry. 8.7 yards a pass. So that's pretty good. Then we look at rushing. Jalen Daniels had 77 carries for 419 yards and 7 touchdowns. Garrett Green had 120 carries for 772 yards and 13 touchdowns. Jalen Daniels averaged 5.4 yards a carry. Garrett Green averaged 6.4 yards a carry. And then Jalen Daniels, 18 passing touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Garrett Green, 16 passing touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So both quarterbacks are pretty equal, pretty similar there. And I found those numbers and was just amazed by them because you could compare Garrett Green's numbers to anybody in the Big 12, and he's right there on par with them. Now you got to look at our running backs, right? At West Virginia, you got to look at the running backs. They're amazing too. So, with Jaheim White and C.J. Donaldson, especially since Jaheim White averages like almost 9 yards a carry, and he's second string. And you say, well, he must not carry the ball very much. He carried the ball like almost 200 times. He carried the ball like almost 200 times, and he averaged 8-point-something yards a carry. Crazy numbers. So yeah, I think West Virginia is going to be a lot better team than 6.5. Now that being said, I think Iowa State's underrated too. With them, I think Iowa State was 7.5 wins. I think Iowa State's going to get 7.5 wins. I think they could get 8 wins. I think Iowa State could get 10 wins. Really, I don't know. That's yet to be seen. But I think they've got the team.
Yeah, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The Cyclones are the most underrated team in the Big 12 and maybe in the country. Many many thought, oh, they're 1-2 to start the season, but they turned the corner and went 6-3 before they lost again. So, I don't know. I think that Abu Sama, that cat had like 7 yards of carry. If he stays, and he was a freshman, I'm sure they got him eating extra lunch and doing a couple extra wind sprints and doing some, little extra, he's going to be a bigger, badder version of himself this year. And if he stays healthy and keeps developing, guys, what a load to bring down. Abu Sama the third.
Conundrum says that John Kurtz thinks Cincinnati, WVU, and UCF might replace FSU, North Carolina, and Clemson. I guess in the ACC. Listen, I can give you 100 million reasons why WVU is not going to the ACC. Can anybody else just think of 100 million reasons? Can you think of 100 million reasons?
I could think of 20 million. That's about the difference in what they'd be making.
Okay, there's 100 million reasons. Number one, lifetime contract, $100 million buyout to get out of the Big 12.
Oh, that's right.
West Virginia just signed that. I don't know if UCF and Cincy had signed that. The Irate 8 signed that. Sticking together, $100 million to get out of the Big 12. So is West Virginia going? I doubt that. No, they don't have $100 million to pay.
To take a pay cut just so that they can, save $2 million, $3 million a year on travel budget. But, here's the difference. If the SEC came calling, I'm sure those teams would change their tune, because you're talking they would get $100 million up in 3 years. Easy.
Right. Yeah, that's for sure. If SEC or Big Ten comes calling, without a doubt, yeah, teams would leave. I don't think anybody's going to leave the Big 12 to go to the ACC. I mean, I just don't see that happening.
No.
John
Kurtz.
So here's what Tim says. First of all, I wouldn't go to the ACC if they gave it to me. They can stick it up their ass. They didn't want us to start with, and I'm damn sure not going now. There you go. Now there's a West Virginia fan, right?
Yeah, I love it. I sorry, I was trying to highlight that, and I clicked there we go. Let's show it again.
And that's the truth. I mean, ACC, they snubbed us. They snubbed us several times. They snubbed us back in when they took Miami and them. When they took Miami and Virginia Tech, they snubbed West Virginia, and they snubbed us again when they took Pitt. When they took Pitt and them,
I could not
College and all them.
I could not believe they took Virginia Tech over West Virginia, and that was a time when West Virginia was definitely on the upswing. Still, they were better than Virginia Tech at that point, if I recall correctly. And Pitt, they haven't really been super relevant since Tony Dorsett and Dan Marino.
Yeah, but still, Pitt's a big brand, and also the academics at Pitt would actually help the Big 12. The academics at Pitt are pretty amazing. So that could help the Big 12 bringing in an academic school like Pitt, as far as academics are concerned. But then again, I look at Pitt and think, well, really, the Big 10 would like them because of their academics, but Penn State would never allow Pitt in the Big 10. I just don't see that happening. So, all right. Anyway, all right. Back to these conversations, chat. What we got going on in chat? Todd Wynn tells hello, everyone. Hi, Todd. Let's say hi to everybody in the chat real quick. Let's do that real quick. All right. So Timothy Green, appreciate you being here. Timothy Green's always with us. Yep. Our resident out there fan right here with us. Man. Jackson Johnson working hard out there in the chat, throwing you all kinds of links, telling you where to find things at. Appreciate you, Jackson. UC Fez, so he is, of course, a UCF fan. He says, Charge on Lights. Daniel is in the chat with us. Daniel Giggett. He says, hello, everyone. Daniel, appreciate you being here. Yvette Foster's out there with us. Appreciate you being here, Yvette. Nice to see you in here. Kelly McCourt, our other West Virginia resident fan. He says, hello, everyone. Appreciate you being here, Kelly. And Conundrum, we mentioned Conundrum earlier. Yormark in Arizona asking the Wildcats and Sun Devils not to declare bankruptcy. Yeah, well.
Yeah. Yeah, he's sitting there like
Todd Gwynn,
counting pennies with them.
Todd Gwynn in here. Appreciate you being here, Todd. That's all I see chatting. We've got more than that in here, but not everybody chats. But do appreciate everybody tuning in. Be sure you hit the like button if you would. It does help the YouTube algorithm. Really doesn't do anything to stroke our ego or anything. It doesn't mean that you like us. It just means that hey, YouTube, yeah, this is a legitimate college football video. So ACC will need a backfield to recover from Knowles Tigers Tar Heels loss. I don't know if they will be able to backfill. Who are they going to backfill with? App State, maybe.
Maybe.
Memphis,
No.
and I mean, you know, they're
Who-
just. Do they go out? Do they go out west and grab Oregon State and Washington State? That could help,
Alabama?
maybe, but I just don't. I don't see who they're going to backfill with.
But hey, Joey, I want to, this is the fan zone, and as a fan, I watch ACC channels, and I watch ACC fans come on Big 12 channels, and they act like, oh, everything's fine. Have you noticed that? They're like, oh no, we're nothing's going to happen, nothing to see here. Is that just my interpretation, or are you seeing that too?
Yeah, yeah. I'm putting our link in the stream. I'm sorry, I was sitting there typing.
No,
I'm
guys,
putting our link in the stream.
different people come on different podcasts, and the ACC fans, oh yeah, that team's disgruntled, but we're fine. We'll be fine. No, you're not.
All right, so I posted a link. I posted a link there in the chat. We invite everyone, anybody that'd like to come on, ask questions, talk about anything you want to talk about, college football related. I don't necessarily need to hear drama, but no, seriously, you guys come on in. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk some college football. Tell us what you think. Brett Yormark, tell us what your thoughts are. What does he mean when he said that he would that the Big 12 is open for business? Something he's not steered away from yet. I'm looking forward to Big 12 Media Days next month. Will there be some announcements before Big 12 Media Days? Now, here's what I know. I know that something, and I don't remember what it was, but 3 months ago, I found something that said Florida State had to let somebody know something by July 1st. Does anybody remember that?
Yeah.
And we're coming up on July 1st here pretty quick. So does that mean Florida State has to give an answer by July 1st, or are they okay to just carry on and give the answer next year? I don't know. But somebody, there was something that I found, or somebody had said something about July 1st. They have to make their decision whether or not they're going to be in the ACC or leaving.
Well, I know the
I don't.
SEC receives the full membership of Oklahoma and Texas then, and I know August 1st is the date when we, the Big 12, get our new members. But I'm trying to think exactly what the date is for that for Florida State.
Todd says I think a year notice.
Yeah.
So yeah, and look here, Kelly. I'm glad you mentioned that, Kelly. So last night, anybody that caught Mountaineer Locker Room last night with Frank Fear and Greg Chris, they had a fantastic interview with Josh Eilert, former basketball coach at West Virginia University. And Josh built on the show. He told us on the show he would be taking another job. He wouldn't tell us where. He didn't tell us where, but that he did have another job lined up, and he would be. Somebody asked him if he'd be on TV in the new job. He said, "I'll be on TV about every week." Yeah. So today it was announced that Josh Eilert has taken an assistant job at Utah as assistant basketball coach. Congratulations, Josh. That is fantastic. Josh Eilert's a great guy. Utah, man, you guys got yourself a great coach there. He held our program together. He held our program together after Bob Huggins left. And everybody's got to remember, June of last year, he had 5 players for the basketball team. He had 5 players in June. By the end of June, he had 0. Nobody was left. So, it was tough sledding for him. He had to battle the NCAA to get players eligible to play. He had to go out and hit portal quite a bit, bring players in. We had a great class at West Virginia, probably the best class we ever had at West Virginia when Bob Huggins uh, kind of did his little mistake. So, but anyway, Josh Eiler, congratulations on the new position with Utah. And Utah, congratulations on getting a great coach, a man that's well spoken. His wife is fantastic. Both of them very well spoken. Both of them were on the show here last night. So I encourage you, if you're a Utah fan and you're watching this now or you're watching this later, go back and watch last night's show, Mountaineer Locker Room with Frank Fear and Coach Greg Chris. Watch Josh Eiler on there. You could tell there was a smile on his face when we asked him about his next venture, what he was going to do.
Yeah,
He already knew he was going to Utah.
I'll tell you what, I can't say enough good things about the guy. And when I see him, I think if they recast Andy Griffith, I want Josh Eiler to play Andy. I just that guy just exudes everything that's good about what the Mountaineers have had going for him the past 20 years. So, I know he's a Kansas guy, but I think he's became a Mountaineer for sure, and he's going to a beautiful place. Salt Lake City. I hope his family enjoy it out there, and I hope he's successful. And I just can't say enough great things about him. And it was a great interview. The boys did a great job asking him some questions, and he wanted to answer that question, Joey. That
he did. He wanted to answer it really bad. He was tempted. Let me tell you. He felt comfortable in the interview. It was his first interview, his only interview since stepping down at West Virginia, or since, you can look at it as stepping down or being fired. He wasn't really fired. He was only an interim coach, and we hired a full-time coach. So you can look at that interview though and know he was ready to come clean, and he really wanted to, but he didn't. He held on to his secret until the day and going to Utah. So congratulations to him. All right. So Conundrum says Yormark was talking about Zags, Huskies, and Creighton when he said the Big 12 was open for business. Probably so. You're probably exactly right. Zags and Huskies, definitely. I would love to have Gonzaga and Connecticut in the Big 12 in basketball.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having Connecticut in football if they can get the football program going. But the basketball, heck yeah, I'd love to have.
It would have to be basketball only, because right now you can't slice the pie anymore. Because right now,
no.
The power, I think, I have to look up the number here, make sure I have it correct, but it's they'll share a $470 million with 14 schools. Okay. So after, BYU, Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF get 18 million each, that $398 million is going to be split with the old guard, so
right.
That's the way it's broken down. So, it'll go up next year because the way the college football playoff set up, and it'll go up even more if we have some solid performances from the top tier of the conference. We're saying that, but we're talking out of both sides of our mouth, because week in and week out, Joey, we're saying how tough the conference is. Like literally, like we've had number 9, number 10 at like number 5. And then like 3 months later, like, nah, they're an 8, because we can't make up our minds.
Yeah.
They don't know what they have. We don't know what they have. Every pundit has a different top, 5 through 8. Okay. It's all different. Now your Utah, your Kansas, your Oklahoma State, and your Kansas State are usually in the top. That's pretty consistent. But the other cats, the middle tier, it's a hot mess. No one can agree on it. Some people say that Oklahoma State is at the top of the second tier. They're at the bottom of the first tier. They can't get it. They don't know what's going on. And that's what makes this show so exciting, because week in and week out, we're not contradicting ourselves. We're giving you what we're feeling this week based on what we're reading, recruiting, how the people are performing as far as practices. We're, a lot of cats that are high recruits come in and just kind of peter out. You remember that there's a couple, I don't want to say their names, but there's a couple high recruits right at the end of, I would say like 2009 to 2012. West Virginia got some good guys that just amounted to nothing. They just petered out. So that happens with all the programs. West Virginia is not alone with that. But yeah, week in and week out, guys. That's get off my soapbox, but that's what we're looking at, and that's what makes this conference so great. And yeah, I think the other conferences think that's two conferences and then the Big 12, but the Big 12 and Brent, I think he is an evil genius. I think he's that James Bond villain rubbing his hands because I think he has a plan. I think he has enough horses in the stable that can compete. We're going to see at the end of the year exactly how many are going to be in that top tier.
Yep. Yeah, I was just reading that. I was getting ready to put that up. Oops, I'm sorry. Yeah, Timothy's telling he wishes Josh and his family very best. 17 years assistant here, and he got handed a shit show. He did. It wasn't his fault, right? And he said last night he wouldn't change anything if he could. He enjoyed coaching the team. He enjoyed that part of it and stuff. And now I asked him how he felt about the transfer portal and if he was excited to get back into the transfer portal again. He wasn't too excited about that, but I think he had his fair share of that. But anyway, but yeah, that's a good point,
Well,
Timothy. Yeah, 17 years at West Virginia,
Scott,
17 years as a
Tony said,
video director, and
yeah,
he came on as video director at WVU and just eventually worked his way onto the bench
yeah,
under Bob Huggins, right? And worked the bench with Bob Huggins, and then after Bob was given he was an athletic director. He was assistant athletic director. He was at one time, so he's got a lot of experience. Now I know that Frank Fuhrer and I were talking today, and we thought maybe Josh Eilert would be an athletic director somewhere. We thought maybe that would be the job he would take.
me too.
That might be an athletic director somewhere. But hey, assistant head coach at Utah, that's not a bad gig. That's a Power 5 program, Power 4 program, right? They're an assistant at a Power 4 program. Pretty good gig. Pretty good gig for Josh Eilert. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of places to be. I mean, Utah always has a nice little run in the tournament for basketball. They are the talk of the town for college football, and it's not a bad place to live. You know what I mean? So, yeah, good for them.
And Josh is a good recruiter too.
Yeah, Josh
is a good recruiter too.
What I was going to say about the recruiting is it's like, okay, they're 2 laps ahead. It's a 4-lap race. Go. I mean, he had no chance in hell of putting together a roster. And the fact that they came from behind and almost won that game, and to hear him talk about it yesterday was fantastic, and to hear his insight and how he reflects on it. But, Big 12 fans, I'm so happy that to see another Big 12 team get Josh as a as a new member of their
Utah fans, you're going to be really amazed by him. You really will. You'll like him. You'll be really happy, and I'm really happy for Utah. I really am. So as long as when you guys play West Virginia, you know that you're going to lose. That's all that matters.
Yep.
So because you won't beat West Virginia, I'm just letting you know. Got to talk a little bit of smack. Anyway, all right. So let's get back to football. Let's get back to football here a second.
So
let's talk about something.
Let's talk about what's going to happen when the season starts. So we're going to get up to 2,000 subs. We've talked about that. We're growing. We're getting there. You need to like, subscribe, and share. So if you have a friend, if you think we're annoying as heck, share us so friends can be annoyed. If you think we're great, share us so friends can think we're great. Either way, share us. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, that's and be a part of the show, guys. This is a fan zone. So you'll notice that Shane and I, and I see people popping in and popping out because they feel like we're probably not talking about anything of any substance here. This is a fan show. Fan. Here we are fans. We're not trying to analyze. We're not trying to give our advice on or tell you what's happening in a program somewhere. We're not trying to do that at all. We're just fans. We just want to hang out and talk Big 12 football. We would love for you guys to join us anytime. I post the link in the chat. I'll post it again for you. I invite anybody that'd like to come in with us. Come in with us anytime you'd like to on this Big 12 Fan Zone show, because it is for you, the fans, to come in and tell us what you think. And we're going to tell you whether or not we think you're crazy or not.
Because
And
Joey,
most likely,
giving you our
you're
hot
not crazy.
news and what's happening. But you know what? At this time of the year, it's all been just rehashed and regurgitated to the point where you're just kind of like, is that really news? And we're fans. We want to interact with you. I don't know enough about the University of Houston. I don't know enough about BYU. I'm learning more about Utah because that's all everybody's talking about in the news. So, let's Tim say here, hopefully, we being West Virginia, he says, will beat Penn State the very first game. I think that would be a good chance this year. Yes, Tim, nothing would be better. Absolutely nothing would be better for the Big 12 as a whole. You could hate West Virginia. You could just wipe your butt with blue and gold toilet paper and say, I hate the Mountaineers. But you have to admit, at the end of the day, it would benefit the conference greatly if West Virginia would get a big W in Morgantown on noon, August 31st. Just saying.
Yeah. Go ahead and keep talking a second, and I'll be right back. I got to help my grandson with something.
And then we also have Utah. Now, everybody, I like hearing Kuz's take. That's the team he wants to root against, okay? I agree. However, if Utah runs the table and does great this year, it's good for the Big 12. But then again, it would be just as good if, say, Oklahoma State ran the table. Now, why I say West Virginia, because Penn State is a Big 10 school. Anytime a Big 12 school plays an SEC school or a Big 10 school, and they manage to pull out a big W, that really adds credibility. And I love just rubbing that salt into the wound, especially in Western Pennsylvania, where every other person has went to Penn State. Just saying. So yeah, conundrum. James Franklin is a butthole, and I agree. He's all about show. I think he's not substance. That's just my opinion. It's a beautiful campus, a beautiful school. Just not my cup of tea. I like the schools in the Big 12. They are more akin to what I'm used to as far as being a Mountaineer alumni. So, your Kansas, your UCF, BYU. And I don't know about BYU. I have to go meet and greet those cats. But Oklahoma State, guys, Oklahoma State is a lot like West Virginia. 60 miles away, they have a team called Oklahoma. 60 miles from Morgantown, there's a little town called Pittsburgh. Now, it's not quite as bad as what Oklahoma State's had to deal with the past few years. West Virginia just had to deal with that in the 70s and early 80s. But recently, it's been, little brother beating up on big brother. But Oklahoma State has that team 60 miles away. The only other place I can think of that is like that is Corvallis and Eugene being 60 miles away, Oregon State and Oregon. So that makes college football fantastic. The fact you can get in your car, drive an hour, and be in enemy territory. That's just it. So Joey's back.
I am back, man. I'm back.
So Tim Green says, I honestly feel like it's going to be hard for any Big 12 team to turn on the table. Yeah. However, it can be done. Yeah, it can be done. It has to be done. Because guess what? If the Big 12 lays an egg the next 3 years, when 2028 rolls around, and if there hasn't been any other teams added to the Big 12, we're not going to get a big enough piece of the pie to remain relevant. Okay, what I'm saying is you're going to be it's like Major League Soccer in the UK. You're going to be relegated to a lower division. Not that they're going to kick us to a lower. We're going to be in a lower division, and the only problem is you can't win your conference or win your league and go up like you can. And I only know this because I've been watching Welcome to Wrexham. Other than that, I wouldn't know shit about football, the foosball, as Bobby Boucher would say. So
So the starting lineup is only $1.99 there, Jackson. You've got $9.99. No, starting lineup is $9.99. You're right. I'm wrong. $1.99 is the bench warmers. Yeah.
and
Sorry,
I'm,
Jackson.
that is
Um,
so true. That is so true because right now, regionally, they're kind of overlapping in some spots. And it used to be, you know, you used to be able to get a kid from Florida because he still wants his mom and dad to come see him play once in a while, because you played in Miami, you played somewhere down south. Uh, that's true. The fact that we play in Texas and you're recruiting Texas, if you're winning, then that kid wants to go to your school rather than go to the team that just lost. I mean, that's just the way kids are. I mean, kids don't have a real long time of reference because they're 18 years old. That's just the way it is. So, yeah, they're not going to look back.
so
15
my
years.
thing is my thing is out there in the Midwest when you get out there, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Iowa State, they're all recruiting against each other, right? And they're all battling for the same players. Especially when you get down to Texas, Baylor, Texas Tech, all this, they're all battling for the same players. West Virginia's kind of out here by herself.
Yep.
We're not battling anybody in the Big 12 for players, and so but we're battling Virginia Tech, North Carolina, um, Pitt, Penn State, Maryland, Ohio State. We're battling those teams for players. But guess what? We get some good players because Ohio State and Penn State can't take them all. And after Ohio State and Penn State and Michigan in this area, the next team that you really want to play for is West Virginia because of the facilities. We have the best facilities in the Big 12, I believe. I think. Now, I'm not saying that that's a fact, but I'm saying I think we do.
I think the
Um,
basketball
I
facilities
also
are
think,
top two. I mean, without a doubt. Football, I'd see
yeah,
top five.
yeah, yeah, but I think it is too, and stuff. But so we don't have we can recruit at West Virginia, and they're battling each other out there in the Midwest. So I think West Virginia is going to be on a rebound here and coming back. I have a feeling Neil Brown's got a good handle on things now. We do have a guest in the back room with us. Let's bring him in here.
Hey, we know
Hey,
you.
gent,
What do you say, Jackson?
how you doing tonight, gents? I just got off the Michigan channel on the call-in show. How y'all doing tonight?
We're doing good.
We're doing
Jackson
great,
looks
bro.
like he's in like there's like a drop off, maybe a glass wall, a cavern, and bats. Like he's in a bat cave, right? Lights are shining on a vehicle like a motorcycle. He goes out and fights crime at night.
Yeah, I'm just staying busy as much as possible. I will say though, I'm still having a hissy fit about Pittsburgh, West Virginia not being on ABC for Saturday Night Football.
Yeah, it's at six
Uh,
o'clock,
You mean
guys.
Penn State? You talking about the Penn State game or the Pitt game?
No pick game.
Pittsburgh, West
Talking about,
Virginia. I mean,
This is
seriously,
3:30.
how's
yeah.
Kentucky, Georgia a great Saturday night game? I mean, the last time Kentucky beat Georgia was in '09. And I believe the last time they beat Georgia in Lexington was in '06.
That's once
Yeah,
again,
well,
Jackson. That
I don't.
these teams have to make a run. They
The
have
way
to
I
be
look at it,
have to make a big splash.
I don't get too upset about primetime spots. I don't. So we got a primetime spot, the Big 12, the big noon kickoff, right?
Right.
On Fox against Penn State. So I'm happy. I'm happy with that. Now, would I much rather had game day there and the game be on ABC? Yeah, without a doubt. But at the same time, I'm okay with big noon kickoff. The Pitt game, as long as that game's televised, I don't care.
Right.
As long as it's televised, because it's going to get the viewers, and that's probably what the television things look at is they say, well, that's going to get viewers anyway. We can put that one over here because
Yeah.
it's going to get its 3 million viewers like it always does. It's gonna have
Okay.
3 to 4 million viewers like always. So we don't necessarily have to put that game here in a primetime spot to have more viewers. I don't know that the primetime spot for the Pitt, West Virginia game gets any more viewers than it does just putting it in a spot somewhere else. Y'all agree to that? I just don't think it does.
I get a chapped ass. I get hurt boo boo kitty feelings when they don't put West Virginia in a primetime spot, especially when they're playing, you know, Penn State and Pitt. Everyone else can just go pound sand and go play, whenever. Those are the two games, the only two games I give two shits about. I want those games 8 o'clock in Acrisure Stadium, 8 o'clock Mountaineer Field, August 31st. That's it. I had, like Jackson said,
It's a huge rivalry.
rivalry. Yeah, you want the fans to get like maybe another 12 natty lights in them before they have to walk into the stadium. I want to see all of the shenanigans. I just want the full college. I want 4 more hours of tailgating. I want it to be crisp and cool that night. Maybe have to wear a sweater an 80-degree day around your waist while you're walking through the crowd just because it's going to get cold that night. I want all of that, but that's just me.
Yeah, it's
So,
like who's really gonna get excited about Georgia, Kentucky when we know it's gonna be Kentucky getting
Yep.
spanked with a belt with their pants pulled down by the Georgia Bulldogs? I mean that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be Kirby spanking them.
um, oh shoot, wrong button. I'm sorry. I'm going to share a screen here. I want to promote something real quick. I did something today in the store. On
Okay.
the store. Let me bring this up. All right. So on the store now, you see this beer mug right here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
This beer mug, beer stein. All right, they're $29 a piece, but somebody had asked me a while back, can you give us a deal if we bought 4? So, and they're free shipping and everything. So I was doing it today, and I came up with a deal. If you buy 4, you can buy any 4. It can be one voice of college football, and if you look in our store, we have all kinds. So you can have one voice of college football, and then you could go over to Vic BC Live, which is another YouTube channel, and get one of their mugs. They got mugs here. They can get one of their mugs and add it to the cart. Here, I'll do that. I'll add theirs to the cart. We'll go to Pigskin Pete, and add one of his to the cart, just to show y'all how this works. So let me get a
Nice.
Pigskin Pete here and add one of his to the cart. Let's go over to the Voice of College Football and add one of his to the cart, which his are on page 3. Down here and add one of his to the cart. And then I'll tell you what we'll do, just for fun here. Let's go to West Virginia football, to Voice of College Football, and let's add a West Virginia mug to the thing. So let's say you added all 4 of them to it. So now how much is it? So let's go to the cart. You go to the cart and you scroll down, you can see that it's give you a discount of $5 off each one for a total of $97.98 for 4 of them. So where it would it's $20 off. It's $20 off for 4. So now you can add any 4 glasses you like and get them for $100. So just wanted to let everybody know that you can get any 4 glasses that you want for $100. And I'll be doing the same thing on coffee mugs at some point. TopQualityShirts.com. TopQualityShirts.com. So anyway, Jayhawks versus WU will get big attention. I think so too. Kansas, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be what, game 4, right? That's the first game in the Big 12 this year, just like it was 2 years ago when Kansas came to Morgantown and beat West Virginia for their first victory in the Big 12 in 100 years, it seemed like. Right? Their first Big 12 victory in 100 years, they beat West Virginia. Then they turned around the next week and started beating everybody, and everybody's like, "Okay, crap, Kansas is back." Yeah. So, but at that time, it was, "Oh my God, Kansas beat West Virginia," right? I mean, everybody was like that. You think about how we felt as West Virginia fans getting beat by Kansas, but Kansas turned out to be a good team and beating everybody. Now we know they're back, and now here we are, first game in Morgantown since that beating, and it's time to play a revenge game here. And that game too, if you remember, JT Daniels threw an interception in that game, just like he did in the Pitt game, that cost us the game. Remember that? Everybody remember that, Shane?
Yeah,
JT Daniels threw an interception in that Kansas game with just a few minutes left that gave Kansas the ball, and they went down, and scored, and won the game.
Couldn't stop them.
So now we get the revenge game from that moment in time. So let's bring on the Mountaineers, show Kansas what it's like to leave Morgantown with a big L again. So
Yeah,
anyway,
that's gonna be a huge
all
game.
right.
Okay. That's gonna be a
I
huge
also
game,
want
right?
to invite everyone tonight. I want to invite everyone tonight over to Traveling Fools channel. Traveling Fools at 10:35 Eastern time. We are playing championship trivia. So this was all the champions from all of our rounds over the past several weeks coming together to play for a big prize, championship night over there. I have created the hardest trivia game you ever seen in your life. I have never in my life created such a hard trivia game. I don't know. There's nobody going to know the answers to these. It's just going to be guessing, and it's going to be pretty cool because this is the champion. This is the best of the best coming on. So that's going to be tonight at 10:35. But reminder, Monday night we're back here on West Virginia football at the Voice of College Football. We're back here with trivia. We do sports trivia, easy sports trivia. How many outs do you get in baseball? I mean, it's easy sports trivia. Not going to be nothing that difficult. Come on in with us. Play. It's totally interactive. You just type in 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chat. You don't have to be a fast typer. You don't have to be fast at nothing. Just type in 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chat with because it's all multiple choice. Anyway, I wanted to get them plugs in there. Sorry, guys, had to do that. Shane, tell everybody about your show tomorrow night. What you got going on?
Tomorrow night, we're going to talk a little recruiting. West Virginia, they're panning for gold, and they found 2 big nuggets, and we'll see if they're going to be hopefully the next coming of those 2, 10 and number 5. You know who they are if you're a West Virginia fan, and if you don't, you better YouTube that stuff. How did they do it? I don't know.
Thinking about something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you something, Shane, because I was thinking about something.
Shoot.
So Pat White, Steve Slayton, Noel Devine, Geno Smith, Tavon Austin, Stedman Bailey, Major Harris, right? Reggie Rambert, Eugene Napoleon, Andre Johnson, Adrian Morrell, the leading rusher in all of West Virginia. These players never got NIL.
No.
Is West Virginia University going to have to pay Pat White? Do you know how many number 5 jerseys were sold with Pat White's name on them?
We still see number 5, number 7. You know how many times I see a guy that should be
still sell them.
Wearing a large Steve Slayton or Noel Devine jersey?
Shouldn't they just walk up and give Pat White a check for $1 million and say, here's your $1 million from your jerseys you sold? Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking that, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Pat White and Steve Slayton sold a lot of jerseys. So did Major Harris. So did you even go back to what, 93? And you look, Darren Stud still sold a lot of jerseys. Jake the Snake Kelchner sold tons of jerseys. So all these players are going to get.
Yeah, they had Jake the Snake T-shirts that were pretty hot back then. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do they get money? Do I don't know. That'd be a good thing to maybe touch on. I'll look and see if I can find anything.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, be interesting to see because those players deserve their money, right? Their name and was used on a jersey, and that jersey sold a lot. West Virginia branded them very well, right? That's one thing I can say about West Virginia. They do a very good job of branding things when they brand a player. Look at Will Greer. Will Greer was well branded too. Hey, there was a lot of Will Greer uniforms out there. So all these players that and you think about it, now that's just at West Virginia. Think about Reggie Bush. I mean Reggie Bush uniforms. How about you go back and you think about all the great quarterbacks, the Brett Favre's of the world, the Barry Sanders jerseys from college. I mean, my goodness gracious, are they ever going to get this NIL straightened out? I don't know if there's enough money out there to pay all these players.
No, they have to have a cutoff as far as that goes, just like they do when they're with these lawsuits. If you were injured between this year and drank this water and lit a firecracker and did a somersault, then you could win. It's it's tough, but I'll tell you what,
All
I'm
right,
excited.
guys. Well, we've been in there.
We'll have a good conversation on about recruiting. There's been other podcasts that have touched on and announced it, but we're going to just figure out exactly. I think Neil Brown, ladies and gentlemen, I think he's figured out the Rubik's cube. I think it's just things are starting to kind of come together, and if you are a fan of college football, there are probably 5 programs in the Big 12 right now that I think all of the frayed loose ends are starting to be kind of tightened up, and it's because this NIL and this transfer portal is a lot to wrap your head around, and some coaches picked up on it quicker than others, and the ones that didn't want to deal with it retired. We talked a little bit about that, but I think I think things are going to be changing for the better for the Mountaineers, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, things need to be changing for the better for the Big 12 in general, all the way around. And I think that if Clemson and Clemson and FSU do lead the ACC, I just believe that there's going to be some teams from there that end up in the Big 12. I'm not saying the ACC is going to dissolve by any means, but I think there'll be a few teams that jump to the Big 12 the moment that Florida State and Clemson leave the ACC. Now, can the ACC survive? I think they can. I think there's some teams out there they could take and survive. Appalachian State, Memphis are 2 of them. That's 2 good programs. Liberty coming on strong. James Madison's coming on strong, right? All of them are East
Tulane,
Coast teams. So
Memphis.
Tulane, Memphis. So
Tulane
so I think that ACC.
Put up.
I agree
So
because
I think that they can survive.
I could see where it kind of becomes like the AAC, where they were like the old Big East, where they were just like, you know what, we're going to change names. We're going to become the AAC. I just wonder, like, if the ACC decided they were going to change names, what would they call themselves? The Pacific Atlantic Conference? Oh no, that's that's lawsuit material.
Wow, I don't know. I think it's crazy that the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference, with Cal and Sanford in it. It just absolutely blows my mind. I mean, I guess as a traditionalist, right? Somebody that's been watching college football for 50 years, I can't get used to that. And ACC means Atlantic Coast Conference. You're on the Atlantic Coast, right?
Yeah.
Big 12 means middle of the United States. You're out there in the middle. You're in the Big 12. You're just right there, a group of teams in the middle, right? The Nebraskas, the Colorados, all them right there. And then the Pac is always out there on the West Coast. Southeast Conference, Big Ten's always north. What the hell has happened to our college football that all of a sudden, if I want to watch my team play a road game, I got to travel across the damn country.
It's like
or fly across the country.
It's like watching when you're driving through Ohio or say like maybe Kentucky or something, and you see this sticker on the back of a truck and it says Salt Life. You don't live by the beach. What's going on? There's no Salt Life.
Yeah, like I know where like a friend of mine and a friend of the Voice of College Football and I've talked numerous times, only talked sports, where we both discussed like how like college football should just be like how it was in the 80s and the 70s, where where it should just be like Southwest Conference, Big 8, ACC, Big East, Big 10, SEC, Pac 8 or Pac 10, whatever, like everybody just stay in their own little place, just keep it regional. And I saw something yesterday where Josh Neighbors and some friends on a 365 Sports were talking about how college football is basically losing its regionality. it's not becoming regional
Well, it
anymore.
is. It is, and that's what's gonna be the downfall of college football, I'm afraid. Um,
Mhm.
I really worry about that
Yep.
because that downfall is of college football is gonna hurt all of us, right? Because we all love our college football, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden, when you're an Alabama fan, all of a sudden, when you're going to an Alabama game that might be sold out on there, but, maybe it's not being televised like it was, like maybe we get back in the '80s again because nobody's watching it, so nobody's televising it.
Yeah, it's blacked
And
out.
that's what I fear.
You have to go to the game.
Yeah, that's what I fear. That's what I fear is that we're getting to that because, hey, I'm serious. Look, I love to watch Alabama football, but I'll be honest with you, I could care less if Alabama's gonna play Cal. I'm not gonna watch that game. I could care less if I could care less if Florida State's gonna play Cal. They're in the same conference now. Who cares about Florida State and Cal? Raise your hand if you care. Nobody does. Nobody's gonna watch that damn game. Nobody's gonna watch
Unless you're
Florida
betting
State and
on it.
Cal.
Yeah.
And then you're probably not gonna watch it. You're just gonna keep up with it. Honestly,
Yeah.
if you're a Florida State fan or a Cal fan, if you're watching that game,
Right.
that's how I feel. Same way with Florida State and Stanford. I mean, so what? Clemson and Stanford, Clemson and Cal. None of this makes any sense. But tell me something. What makes sense? Does Pitt and West Virginia make sense, or does Pitt and Cal make sense?
Absolutely, Pitt, West Virginia makes sense.
I mean, I know.
Pittsburgh,
It's
Penn
like, but
State
Pitt and Cal,
makes sense.
Pitt Louisville.
yeah. So I'm with you guys. I want the regional brought back, and I think that not being regional anymore is going to hurt college football. It's going to hurt fans in the stands, so that's going to hurt ticket sales, which is going to hurt concession sales. Which then also, if I can't go and watch my team play after a couple of years, I may not be a fan anymore. I may not be a fan if I can't go to any games. So I'm probably just going to be sitting there at the house one day, and I'm going to be watching TV, and it's going to be Saturday, and I'm going to be excited about football, and I'm going to turn on, and they're going to say West Virginia is going to play Houston today, and I'm going to be like, what the hell? I don't care about West Virginia and Houston. I really don't. It's not a regional game. Look, as long as West Virginia's in the Big 12 and we're playing Houston, I'm going to be excited, and I'm going to want to beat them. All right, no, bottom line. But the average fan out there is probably going to look and say, I don't give a shit about Houston. I want to watch us play Pitt. I want to watch us play Virginia Tech. I want to see us play Maryland. I don't want to see us play these teams. And I think we're losing some fans for it. I think we've lost some fans for it. All right, guys, I'm going to close this one down unless you guys want to go on.
No, I appreciate Jackson coming on, and tomorrow night you can see us, and then Joey, tell us about your trivia Monday again.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy trivia. We do it at 10:30. The reason I have to do it at 10:30 is we do have a co-host. It's a good friend of mine. Her name is Gigi, but she goes by Gutter Girl or Gutter Pub. Her channel is Gutter Pub. Check her out. She does a great show over there. But she hosts with me, and she can't do it till 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
She's got a grandbaby and doesn't get picked up until 10 o'clock. So we just do it at 10:30. But we play 3 rounds. It's just easy sports trivia. Like I say, how many outs do you get in baseball? How many foul balls can you hit in baseball? I mean, whatever. It's just simple triple trivia questions that you can answer. It's all interactive. You do it right in the chat. Hey, LW, appreciate you coming in, buddy. And Clay Johansson. I'm sorry, Clay Johansson's in here too. Appreciate you, Jay. Clay, I mean. But anyway, I'd love for everybody to come out on Monday night. We get good crowds for that, and people are really smart. So come out, put your thinking caps on, bring your little quick fingers to type in 1, 2, 3, or 4. That's all you need. That's all you need. As long as you can type 1, 2, 3, or 4, and you got a brain, you can play as trivia and win some prizes. Jackson, tell everybody what you got going on in your channel and what's coming up, brother. You had a big interview not so long ago, and you put that video out yesterday. Tell everybody about that.
I did episode 34 of the Jacksonian with Ty Hudson, the host of Tuss Talk with Ty. where we talked a little bit about as to whether John Calipari can bring a natty for Arkansas basketball. We talked a lot about whether Bobby Petrino coming back to Arkansas was going to be good, bad, or ugly for the Razorbacks. And we talked about how lovable Sam Pittman is and how, if the day does come where he gets fired, who'd be the coaching candidates? Does Jamie Chadwell fit into that list? That's for everybody to decide. Also, for Monday night, I also got episode 33 of the Jacksonian with the co-host of Double Fries No Slaw and the host of College Football Addiction, TJ Pittenger, where we discussed our take on what's going to happen with Florida State. And if they leave the ACC, which looks pretty likely, where are they going to go? And how will it affect the Florida State-Miami rivalry? Is that going to be like one of the rivalries that winds up in a coma? Is it going to stay on like it did in the 90s, where it was like one of those non-conference rivalries that you saw?
Love that rivalry. Love it.
Right? I mean,
black and white TV in my bedroom in the 80s and 90s, and just like, man,
it's just insane. I don't want to see that rivalry go down. I mean, it gets me upset thinking about it. But I am, however, 173 subs away from the magic number 500 on YouTube. Can't do it without your help. I'm doing my part and getting in there. And I'm getting closer to 2,000 on Ets and getting close to 400 on Instagram and getting close to 100 on Threads. And what I do is just kind of release my takes on what's going on in college football, NFL world, who's going to be on my next episodes of the Jacksonian. And, I always like to tell a little bit of what's going on in Voice College. I always make sure to tell everybody, well, stay tuned for this episode, stay tuned for that episode. It's a wild
You're
ride.
great, Jackson. You're great. You're an actual promoter. So I appreciate you and everything you do for us here at the Voice of College Football, as well as the West Virginia channel, because you do a really good job over here. But just in general, with the Voice of College Football as well. All right, everyone, that's going to be our show for tonight. We do appreciate everybody coming out. Everybody check out the Jacksonian. Also check out tomorrow night, 8:00, Shane Show, West Virginia Live, right here on the West Virginia channel with the Voice of College Football. Everyone have a great night, and we will see you next time.